So, 2025, what a year. For me, and I'm guessing for a lot of you, it was a year of reckoning. It was hard, it was painful, but in a really strange way, it made things incredibly clear. This isn't going to be just another list of life hacks. This is me trying to explain the hard truths I was basically forced to learn, lessons that were forged in the fire of a really, really transformative year.
You know, it all really started with the question that I just could not get out of my head. Why are our 20s so damn hard? I mean, we're supposed to have all this energy, right? All this ambition, the world at our feet, but so much of the time it just feels like we're completely and totally lost.
And this just nails it. Think about it. For the first 20 years of our lives, pretty much everything is laid out for us. School, exams, milestones, we're all kind of on the same track. And then, all of a sudden, the track just disappears. There is no playbook. And for the very first time, you are truly on your own. My own confrontation with this, this terrifying freedom, it came out of nowhere, and it hit very, very close to home.
My wake-up call wasn't gentle. Not at all. It was a crisis that completely shattered the illusion that I had everything figured out, you know? The idea that I had plenty of time. It forced me to take a hard look at the foundations of my life and see just how fragile they really were.
It all started with a routine checkup that turned into a nightmare. I was 27, deep in the grind. You know, scaling a side hustle, always chasing the next milestone, when 3 little words just completely shattered my reality. It's cancer. The months that followed were just this blur of hospital runs and emotional whiplash. But you know, disasters have this strange way of distilling truth. They strip away everything that isn't essential, and they force you to see what truly, truly matters. It was time to open my own inner ledger.
So, the first and most important change had to be internal. It was time to really confront the myths I was living by and replace them with some uncomfortable but, in the end, empowering truths.
We get this so backward. I mean, I used to wait around for motivation to strike before I'd start anything important. But the hard truth is, motivation isn't the cause of action, it's the effect. You just have to take that first tiny step, and the momentum you build, that's what creates the motivation to keep going.
Man, this was a tough pill to swallow. I kept thinking that some achievement or some relationship or some breakthrough would finally fix me. But the truth is, no one is coming to save you. And that feeling of being a little bit inadequate, maybe a little dissatisfied, it's not a sign that you're broken. It's actually one of the most normal things about being human.
And this is the point that really ties it all together. It's kind of counterintuitive, right? Like, why would you take responsibility for things that aren't even your fault? Well, it's because when you blame, you give away your power. The moment you take ownership, you give yourself the power to act, and that is what actually lessens the pain.
And this internal work, it naturally starts to bleed into our relationships. The crisis taught me that every contract we have with other people, our partners, our friends, our family, it all starts with the unspoken contract we have with ourselves.
I call this the mirror effect. If you treat yourself poorly, you will unconsciously seek out and tolerate other people who do the same. But if you treat yourself with dignity and respect, guess what? You'll only accept people into your life who do the same. It's really that simple and that profound.
So here's a question that really makes you stop and think. And I want you to be brutally honest with yourself here. If you met you, would you want to be in a relationship with you? If the answer is no, or even a hesitant, maybe, well, that's a problem you need to address. And it starts from within.
Because here's the thing, you can't expect someone else to fill your cup if it's already half empty. You are responsible for your own happiness, period. And a huge part of that self-respect for anybody comes from financial independence. And listen, it's not about being rich. It's about having the power to make your own choices, to not be trapped in any situation, toxic or otherwise, just because you're dependent on someone else. Now, all this change, this internal work, it sounds great, right? But it comes at a cost. Growth is almost never this joyful celebration in the moment. In fact, a lot of the time, it feels a lot like grief. That's because real growth requires loss. You have to let go of the person you used to be to make space for the person you're becoming. That means shedding old values that don't serve you anymore, breaking old habits, and ultimately grieving the loss of your old identity.
So after a year of, demolition and rebuilding, what are the new foundations? What are the practical, non-negotiable principles I'm building my future on? For me, it all comes down to 3 core pillars.
Right. So I used to think of health as just another checkbox, something I could get to later. The reality? It is the absolute foundation for everything else. I thought money could fix any problem. The reality? It buys you options, maybe better care, but it doesn't shield you from grief. And most importantly, I thought I had to be strong and handle crises all by myself. The absolute truth is that your support network, your friends, your family, that is your lifeline. Vulnerability isn't a weakness. It's the bridge that connects you to the strength of everyone around you.
And if you're listening to this and thinking, well, it's too late for me to change, to build these new foundations, I just want to leave you with this story. A friend's grandmother took her very first piano lesson at 62. By the time she was in her 90s, she had been playing for over 30 years, longer than some professional musicians have even been alive.
The point is, it is never, ever too late. There is always time to learn, to change, to grow. The real question isn't whether you can. The only question is, how long are you going to sit there and make excuses?